So let's talk about anti-Parkinson drug-induced psychosis. Anti-Parkinson drug-induced psychosis. So, what are the anti-Parkinson drugs that we use for treatment of Parkinson disease? So, anticholinergics are used. Amantadine is used. Amantadine 3. MAO-B inhibitor is used. MAO-B inhibitor is used. 4. Can you recall? COMT inhibitor. And 5. Dopamine agonist. And finally levodopa carbidopa. So you may be wondering why I have written levodopa carbidopa in last and anticholinergic in first. It seems that this is most effective drug for treatment of Parkinson, and this is least effective. So if you are thinking like that, you are thinking right, because this is arranged in least effective to most effective order. This is the least effective for treatment of anti-Parkinsonism, then more effective. This is more effective than anticholinergic. MAO-B inhibitor is more effective than amantadine. COMT inhibitor is more effective than MAO-B inhibitor. Dopamine agonist is more effective than these all four. And levodopa is the carbidopa combination is the most effective drug. And there is a reason that I have written in this order, because while we treat anti-Parkinson drug-induced psychosis, then we have to I mean to say that when we are planning to treat it, then we have to discontinue this drug in the following order. For example, let's say patient is taking levodopa carbidopa and amantadine, and his Parkinson symptoms are well controlled, and he is exhibiting symptoms of psychosis. Then you have to discontinue one drug. Then you discontinue amantadine. You won't discontinue levodopa carbidopa, because you discontinue the least potent anti-Parkinson drug first before discontinuing most potent. Because if you discontinue levodopa carbidopa in first instant, then what will happen? His Parkinson symptoms will reappear. That's why we have to discontinue least potent before discontinuing more potent. And if psychosis persists despite this discontinuation of antipsychotic drugs, then addition of low dose antipsychotic is indicated. Low dose antipsychotic is indicated. And so low potency second generation antipsychotics. So what are the low potency second generation antipsychotics? Quetiapine, clozapine. So these low potency second generation antipsychotics have lowest incidence of drug induced Parkinsonism. That's why this is indicated. Okay. And in contrast, potent D2 receptor antagonist such as first generation antipsychotics and second generation antipsychotics like risperidone should be avoided. So potent D2 receptor antagonists such as first generation antipsychotics and second generation antipsychotic like risperidone should be avoided due to the risk of motor symptoms, because they are very potent and they may exacerbate motor symptoms in Parkinsonism. And recently pimavanserin, a serotonin 5-HT2A receptor inverse agonist has been approved for treatment of psychotic symptoms in patients with Parkinson disease. Okay, so you should also note down this. And amantadine potentiates dopaminergic function by influencing the synthesis, release or reuptake of dopamine. Amantadine is an antagonist of NMDA type glutamate receptor, suggesting an anti-dyskinetic effect. Actually, its mechanism is unclear, but what has been proposed is it influences the potential dopaminergic functions by influencing synthesis, release or reuptake of dopamine. Okay, so now let's talk about low potency antipsychotics and high potency antipsychotics. Low potency and high potency antipsychotics. So high potency means more neurologic side effects. So what are neurologic side effects? Extrapyramidal symptoms. So what are the examples? Haloperidol, trifluoperazine, flufenazine, and low potency antipsychotics have more anticholinergic effect, more antihistaminic effect, and alpha 1 block effect. And what are the examples? Chlorpromazine and thioridazine. So there is one mnemonic: cheating thieves are low. It means chlorpromazine and thioridazine are low potency antipsychotics. So it will help you to remember. Okay.